Welcome back to the Stop Snitching podcast.
Back, baby.
Myself, Nathan. We got BCTV Media. Oh, you're going by B-Rock now? Now, don't let the guest talk yet. Don't let the guest talk yet. You got to wait. We got to get a proper bring in. Well, I'm going to freestyle the intro because the artist that we have on here today could freestyle his own intro. So I'm bringing him my own shit right now.
Legendary.
Okay?
Go ahead.
This is a man, the myth, the legend, the great recording artist, producer. He's your rapper's favorite rapper. He's your producer's favorite producer. We've got tens of thousands of followers across multiple social media platforms. You can find him on Spotify, you can find him on Apple, you can find him on Tidal, you can find him on absolutely anywhere there's ever been music made on God's earth. I'm talking Spotify to, I verified before the interview, Brandon, you can find him on Bandcamp still to this day. I'm not going to say that there's nothing on MySpace. I'm saying if you go anywhere in the world.
You ain't going to find that. You ain't going to find that.
We have the great RJM in the building.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
He went from a legend in the making to a legend.
Nah.
We'll get into
not
it.
yet. Not yet. Keep it humble.
That was a bar.
Keep it humble.
Y'all gotta keep watching the podcast to catch that bar I just dropped right now. But it's cool though.
So, in short, we've got the homie in the building. We're going to chop it up on basically everything. However, I did say before this to him behind the scenes, so in full transparency, this is not the RJM explains his discography. This is not the genius bar by bar breakdown of anything. We're meeting the artist behind this. Yeah. We got Ryan in the building.
Ryan.
We give him another round of applause.
Appreciate it, fellas. Thank you.
We love it. What are your thoughts for today, Brandon? I know you're excited about this.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of people that don't know, damn,
I bodied my phone in the middle of that. Yeah,
damn.
Go ahead.
We gotta start over.
Nah, for a lot of people who don't know, man, this is our brother right here. You know what I'm saying? So to us, he's just Rye. To the world, he may be RJM. You know, you got some other things cooking that we'll get into. But, you know, this is just Rye right here. We go way back, way back, you know, to the days when we were just figuring out that we like to do videos and content. And he was kind of like a guinea pig. Now that we look back,
he was basically. He was the only friend that we had that had something. I was like, bro, you're the only one who makes something else.
I mean, Rye's literally been on this grind since high school, yo. Like selling freaking CDs.
Can we call it like a decade now? A decade plus?
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, bro. Almost a decade.
I mean, 2011 I started, so.
Oh, yeah. So it's about
a decade.
Literally.
Just literally.
Does that feel weird? Do you get to that point now? I think Brandon and I talk about this sometimes where, like, we'll talk about something. He'll be like, I love this song. I'm like, bro, that song's 15 years old. Like, that is a real thing now. Yeah. That is your life.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We listened to the most music when we were in high school. So I feel like just off of that, like, you listen to your favorite projects and then years later you're like, damn, like, this is what I was listening to back then. Like, and it changes. Your taste changes everything.
I was going to say, the Rye that I knew in high school, basically, it was, let me think, heavy on the Lupe. Lupe Fiasco was given bars everywhere.
Food and liquor. Shout out.
He was always, Rye, I'll give you this, though. Rye was the first, like, Jadakiss fan that I knew in my life, period. He was the first person to be like...
I was more into Styles, but I respect them both.
Styles, okay, fair to say. Either one, but in the 8th grade, I was like, who is Jadakiss? He was like, you don't know about these bars,
right.
Out here.
I was all hipster, like, yo, you gotta fuck with the underground shit, or I can't fuck with you now.
Bro, like, the Rye, the skateboarding, rapping.
Skateboard R.
Dude, so ahead of the time.
He was on Pro Era early, like when Joey dropped 1999, like you were on it, like
he was.
You knew everything about him. Now, obviously, the whole world knows him, but it was like,
we were privileged to go up to one of their studios.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, we were privileged. Yeah.
Tell the story.
You wasn't even there, bro.
No. You weren't. No.
I'm just
were you there?
Yeah, we went up.
All right.
That's what I'm saying. You're not even in this joint. It's like, nah.
Yeah,
Brad took us up to their studio in Brooklyn, bro.
This is Pro Era in New York?
Yeah. This is like...
Well, it was, shout out to Trevor and Nick Caution.
Yeah, Nick Caution.
Yeah, they have their own studio up there, and I was very honored to record one of my most touching tracks I've ever recorded. Young Chris,
Yeah,
and
Rest in
you know,
peace.
rest in peace
No
for
jokes.
sure. And
remember that.
heart's still heavy, but yeah, I mean, it was an honor, and he mixed it perfect, and everything was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we went to Wawa, copped up on some gummy bears.
Oh my God. The gummy bear plug.
The gummy bear.
Oh,
Yo, he just be
wait,
coming
hold on.
through.
We didn't do the trademark thing.
Oh yeah.
Ryan has the drink. Hold on.
Wait,
Welcome
what?
to the Stop Snitching podcast,
Oh,
bro.
sheesh.
We give a little cheers.
Say
Oh,
less.
no, hold on.
All right, ready?
Brandon
So-
keeps it very traditional. Go ahead, give the
so
breakdown.
When I count from 3, you're gonna go, stop snitching, and then we all tap the glass.
Okay.
All right, ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3.
Stop snitching. Here we go.
Toast.
Ching-a-ling, ching-a-ling.
Say less.
You take your sip. We're locked in.
Amen. Nah, we got our brother in the building, man. This is a epic moment. You're our first guest since like we started
Together
co-hosting.
and
Yeah.
like very much so like getting the studio actually
Yeah.
legit, like not playing around anymore, actually trying to make this thing go.
Yeah.
Right.
So dude, we're very excited to have you. I also really love that a lot of times, I'm sure as people will see in the future, we're talking to people for like a particular reason because there's something.
Yeah.
The great thing with you, Ryan, is like I was joking in the beginning, but I'm also not kidding. There's just plenty of shit. You can listen to this man over whatever year you want, times, albums, songs. Like it's out there. Go ahead, plug the IG first off so people can find
Damn,
it.
all right. So everything is RJM official except for my Twitter is RJM Poet. And still trying to get the RJM app, but you know, they playing around. But
Twitter, holler at me.
yeah, holler at me. But other than that, yeah, I have my website, rjmofficial.com. Still, you know, working on it a little bit here and there. But the main thing I really want to talk about is Poetic Drive that I started, and it's going to be the engine to the music.
You know the
my
vibe.
man's repping
You know
it
I'm out
over
here
there.
merched up, baby.
Got the shirt.
Come on, man.
You know what I'm
Hell
saying?
yeah.
Actually,
So-
I was there for this. I was in the building making the shirts. So
Yeah.
don't say I was never in
Oh,
the
you actually
trenches.
helped to make
Nah,
the-
he was in the
there with
trenches.
The press,
Yeah.
bro, like making this shit. I think a lot of people get that messed up. All right,
Yeah.
support your friends. That's very crucial. But also, when you support the artist, just know this ain't Apple. This isn't American Eagle, bro. I'm not shipping this out to Bangladesh.
Yeah.
And there's 15,000
That's
people
tough.
making all these shirts. Like, you support someone. Understand there is the grind from the
Yeah.
moment of thinking about it to getting it shipped out to you. So
Right.
That's a lot of
you
work.
got to show love to that. Absolutely.
It was hot as hell. We was sitting there swapping
Brandon
the
doesn't know this,
teas
bro.
out.
I am not kidding. What Ryan was saying is accurate.
Yeah.
We were both literally shirtless in his apartment,
Yeah.
pressing the shit. I'm like, Ryan, bro, it is hot as
I was like,
hell in
five
here."
more.
He was literally like that. He's like,
10
he's
more,
like,
10
he's
more.
Like, hey, bro, I'm gonna order Domino's.
Right.
It'll be chilling.
Boot camp.
He's like, don't
Right.
worry about it. You hot right now, bro, but we
Yo,
making this hot
I'm
fire
running
right
in.
here, bro.
You sound
Oh my
like a
God.
coach.
Dude,
You sound like
it
a
was
coach.
hot. It was hot. But anyway,
That's funny.
You help learn the process with me
Yeah.
the first
Oh,
time.
dude.
Yeah.
The music is one thing. The merch side of trying to make your own stuff.
Yeah.
That, hey, I
That's
do
what I
have
had
experience in trying to make that. That is no joke, bro.
Right.
You gotta want that 1,000%. But anyway, Ryan, you got a little elevator speech. What do you say to people when they're like, "Oh my God, I love you"? What do you do, Ryan?
Oh man.
Who are
I
you?
tell them to be themselves.
Hey.
Don't try to be like me. Be like yourself. But nah, I mean, hopefully, the music that I put out over the years, people can relate to it. People go through things in life, and the things that I go through that I put in my music, hopefully, a lyric resonates, and that's what an MC wants. We want people to feel what we're going through, and I've been through a lot, of course. The real ones know my story, and the one thing about it is you never stop, you never give up. Even if you're getting hit, time after time, you just keep going. You never let that show. And my method to it is just putting out more music and fighting through that pain.
Nah, I think you said something earlier. You're talking about the process of everything, and I feel like that perfectly describes you, because you're all about the process. Like,
Yeah.
you're not somebody who's just gonna put it out just for the heck of it. Like, it's like it has to be like.
Well, like, Ryan, if you could put it down to a word, like, how would you describe your creative process? To give it an adjective, a description, is there one word that you
spur of the
put on?
moment? I think I've said that in some past stuff we've done.
Okay,
but,
so it's pretty spontaneous.
Spontaneous. I like the aspect of surprise. You know, I'm very unexpected. You never know what to expect from me, which I personally like, because that, you know, draws different types of fans. And, you know, I might be over here with it one time, and then the next time something totally different. So I like switching up the beat selection. Like, I might do a trap beat first, then I might go back to the boom bap, then, you know, mix it up. Yeah.
But you really take the time to perfect your music, though. Like, it may be spontaneous, and
that's what I was gonna say. I think the process is like
you like really
perfectionism.
Take time to like, because we were talking when I came over to listen to music. You were like you had these like skeleton songs, and you were like, yeah, I'll probably get to them in like a month or two.
Right.
And like for me, it's like me when I do any type of content. Like, I'm trying to get right to it, whatever. Like, you're different. Like, you really take your time, and you're really like, I need to be in that zone to really do it. And
right.
it's
You know
like,
what's so funny?
Yeah.
Is that before you came here, I was talking with Rye about that. We were talking about you versus him.
Oh,
I'm more like you in the sense too. I'm like, I can hold on to it, but I don't want to. I just get too excited. Like, I want it out there. Like, Rye and you are like the complete polar opposites of like, Brandon will make, manufacture, edit, produce, upload, and finish 20 clips in one day.
Right.
You can get that out of Ryan as well, but his process is just so different that it's like you will wait for it and it will be
I have to go
phenomenal as well. But there's so much introspection versus I think Brandon really lets that out as like almost I would consider Brandon an introvert, but if you saw the product he puts out, it does seem very extroverted. He's just always it's the crank out. It's just going. It's going. Is that
I like to load up my ammo and then shoot. You know, like
I told Brandon like he should keep like the clip just like loaded and then just unleash it. I'm like, I don't know. Brandon probably
he mass produces.
I don't know. Brandon does probably have so much stuff.
Yeah, I think
incredible.
It just depends. Like, if it's like, you know, if I do stuff for St. Joe's, like, it's got to come out just because they have so many games. But I'm starting to work on
big
things
contract
now.
talk.
I'm starting
where
to work
the money
on
at.
things now. Like, the difference between me and Rye is like a lot of the videos I do, they need to be put out quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are things that I'm working on that are long term, and I've had to like learn how to like space that out because I'm not used to like having to revisit something I shot 3 months ago. So that's been a different thing. But with Rye, it's like that's your music. Like, Rye makes like albums. Like,
this is a good way to transition. I had this question. I want your perspective on it. In the music industry now, there's so much pressure on, you know, Spotify, new music Fridays every single week. If you matter, you need to drop. And I was talking to you about this off camera as well. I just want the audience to know what we were talking about. And transparency is like, you have the ability to really, honestly, it seems to me like Ghost. Like, behind the scenes, you take care of your fans, you take care of the team that you've built. But if you don't know you or the work that you put into it, you would think you'd be like, yo, he hasn't posted anything in a while. Like, what's going on? But then every time you drop, it's like crazy. You'll show me. We don't have to talk the numbers. The engagement is nutty, okay? So
the analytics behind the scenes.
And it is truly masterful in the way that you do that. So what are your thought processes on now, like, dropping all the time versus sometimes? How do you find that happy middle ground with yourself?
I feel like with my music, when I'm in the process of creating it, it's like I'll write and then I'll get to like the 8th bar and then I'll be like, you know what, if I'm not feeling it, let me stop here and come back to it. Some people try to force everything right then and there in that moment, but sometimes you got to take a step back, say, okay, I knew I went hard up until this point, but shit, I gotta go eat, I gotta drink some more water, like get re-cleanse, because sometimes like people try to force everything just to get it done, and then like halfway through it's just kind of like but I don't know.
So you give yourself the just time. You're not going to rush it.
I'm not rushing anything. I'm not rushing anything. But one thing I do respect about Brandon is he is consistent and he does produce a product that continuously comes out, and that's the business aspect of it. Now with music, for me, I wear all the hats. I'm the rapper, the producer, the promoter. I don't have a manager. Poetic Drive just now is coming into play where it's going to be the engine, and I'll have more like a business savviness with it when I'm doing pitches for certain things or, booking shows in the future after COVID, of course, mask up. But, yeah, I mean, it's one of them things you got to feel it and never force anything. Let it come to you. And that's what I got to say.
Yeah, I would say that is definitely, that's true to your personality. Knowing you as a person, you are very much you, for lack of a better term, you trust the process. Yeah. You know that, shout out the Sixers, I just unironically, that's the best way that I can put it out there, but like you do allow it to come to you. I think that patience is very inherent to who you are as a person. And that's not to say that Brandon or myself aren't patient, but I think that making music is different.
Yeah, it is different. Yeah.
You need to like look at it, listen to it, feel it inside of yourself. But here's what I want to know. So you're a young white kid from New Jersey and you want to rap. What? How? Like what? How do you? Is that?
Like
was
how?
There any,
How did
was
this
there
happen?
Any? Yeah. Was there any
like
moment where? Because I know that's not the easiest route to get to that point.
Yeah, I feel like just my drive and my heart set me apart from, I guess, the typical white rapper. Like I never looked at myself as a white rapper. I never, obviously you got to be aware, like, okay, like people are going to perceive me this way at first, but over time, the skill, outshines whatever they could label you as. The work, the 10,000 hours on lyrics just alone. Then there's the mixing. Then there's, the whole process of recording. But when it comes to the white rapper, I think nowadays that's just, everything is very marginalized to this and that. It's like, I mean, we could get to BLM, we could get to certain things, but it's like, bruh, like, I obviously am aware of the injustice, but you got to also realize, like, BLM is a branded thing into social media. So the way we perceive that is different, like, than just naturally, okay, like, I'm going to sit here and hang out with my friends that aren't white. Like, I mean, it's just how you perceive it, I feel like. Like, okay. Let's get into that more. Like, let's pick it apart.
I think that you're from... Okay, so I guess my question is more like, from your perspective, activating in a predominantly, let's just call it, non-white arena of sound, of music, of business, right? Like in hip-hop in general, there's definitely faces in there, but who's like the most, like a Jack Harlow nowadays is probably the most
Well, put it this way.
accepted.
It's like I'm one of the, I guess if you want to like really just, not be politically correct in this interview, like I'm one of the white rappers that like steps outside of myself to appreciate other people, see like what they're about and where they come from. I mean, like, I was talking about
very inclusive.
Yeah, like
yes.
it's very like an exclusive thing. But getting back to BLM and stuff, like I went to protests, like I did support, like I was there through a lot of that, like it really, it touched a lot of us, obviously, but again, you have to look at how it's being perceived in the social media and what is really being said and how is it being said. Like when this shit all popped off, it was like, fuck white people. And obviously, like, it is majority white people, which is messed up, but, not all white people are bad, and I feel like to someone like me that's in hip hop and I'm white, like, it's just kind of like, damn, like it's a bad time,
But you've also always been in this scene. I think that your relationships and everything that you've done up to this point would kind of show that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's where we grow up. Like, we didn't grow up in a place where there was really, there's always racism, but it wasn't overt. Like, you grew up around a bunch of different people. Yeah. So, you're just influenced by a lot of different things that you see. And naturally, from our conversations, you were naturally drawn to, like, the more introspective kind of people that made music, like Lupe. Right. I know at first you loved M. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were always into that, but then you were always surrounded by people of different cultures, too. So I think it was just kind of like a good mix. Yeah. Which is like, which even if you listen to your music, like you can sense that, like
Right.
you're definitely like underground, but you also understand how to turn up. And then it's the same thing, what like why you're so sensitive to like, you know, black issues, because you just grew up around all that
Right.
stuff. You had a bunch of different
My best friends, you know,
Yeah.
like going through things, and you know, I've had talks with you and you know, a lot of my friends, like we're sitting down while all this is going on, and it's like, you know, this is crazy. Like how can you express yourself to me right now to make me understand more, or you know, it's not about me, it's about what's going on, you know. And I feel like my next album, you know, I'll talk about it as much as I can with, you know, the rope that I have on these types of things. But you know, it's like I think I seen Jack Harlow, you know, do a little bit, you know, on what was going on. And you know, I actually do like when white rappers step up and, you know, with the platform that they do have, because maybe the fans that are attracted to their music are predominantly white, them stepping up actually does help, because it's like it makes a difference in people's perspective. Like, hey, like I don't gotta be like that. Like I could actually view it from this way, and just because my fucking grandparents are fucking racist and shit, like doesn't mean I gotta be fucking like that. You know, fucking you could be yourself and know what's right, regardless of the predecessors or whoever came before us. You know, it's a different generation, it's a different time. Yeah. We all have more to be aware about and, you know, think about, but you know, you don't gotta go all third eye. It's just what's right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think also because, again, like, you know, we grew up in this eclectic area, but at the same time, like, you being independent also helps you to be able to express yourself way more than, like, a Jack Harlow. Because Jack Harlow can only touch on so much. Like, he's signed, and he's, like, their business is selling albums and songs.
Right.
They do not
he's
care.
more hits. He's more hits.
They do
you
not,
know?
like, the record label does not care.
But the fact that he even still had an approach to it was cool, because it's like he wasn't the underground rapper that you expected to talk about it. He was someone in the industry that did, you know, he didn't have to do that. So I feel like him, you know, whether it's, I mean, Logic's half black, half white, but who else is there?
Right now?
That was, I mean, M did it in the BET Cypher.
I mean, I think the main point of what you're trying to get at is it's how you're raised. Obviously, how you're raised does not determine who you need to be, right?
Right.
You can have your own mindset and support the things that you want to support, do whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy. Yeah. But also, growing up in specifically your story, the blinders were kind of off to a certain extent. Like you're so different around different people. That plays to your strengths, obviously, where you can feel like you can be a part of all these different things. And I think the answer to my question was like that you've never noticed it because it's never been your life. You don't think about being a white rapper because in your life you're not seeing the same version of you all the time. And obviously that's the hardest cycle to break. And when all you see is yourself. That's how you get ignorance. I've always, and prejudice.
For the most part of my life, I mean, up until, you know, I found hip hop too. Like I identified with black. Like I've always been inspired by black. I've identified with black, and it's something that, you know, if you are white and you do identify with black, it's something that you have to do more research about. You know, and you know, it takes more than just, you know, looking at social media and getting mad about some shit, and you know, you got to really do your homework, you know.
Do your due diligence, and if you want to be a part of the community, then
I still got a lot to work on too, by the way. I mean, I know.
We all do.
Yeah, a lot to work on.
But I feel like it's, you know, I just feel like a lot of it has to do with where you're from. Like if you're from a predominantly white area in the South, you probably grew up racist just because that's just the culture. Yeah, it just is. It's like it just is what it is. Like I remember my mom would tell me, like, my mom grew up in Philly, right? And you know this story. My mom didn't know she was black until somebody, like a white girl, had to tell her she was black.
Damn.
That's how, like, because it's two totally different
true.
things.
Yeah, you don't know.
In the North, and like, they were two totally different things. Even in the civil rights movement, like in the Northeast, it wasn't like white and black people played together.
So wait, someone had to tell her?
Yeah, because
as
it wasn't,
far as like,
yo, you're black, like.
But she didn't know before.
No, Because think about when you're 5.
When you're younger.
Think about when
Okay.
you're 5. You're not thinking about.
You're not thinking like
Yeah.
face value shit
Yeah.
that everybody thinks
But I
about
think it's
nowadays.
More, it goes to show like it was like again, racism is a thing, but it's not nearly as bad as it is in the South at that time.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
You mean just like geographically?
Yeah,
in certain
it's a
places
geographical
it's much worse.
thing.
Okay, yeah.
it's like it's more eclectic here. Like you're around so many different people that
Philly.
you can't help but to appreciate what everybody brings to the table.
Right.
Down south, you just may be around.
We're around more urban communities.
Yeah.
Like we grew up middle class. Like
Yeah.
we've been around, from the low to the high. Like we have, at least I would think, a good understanding of a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, being in Philly, doing the groundwork, seeing what other people go through, to being in New York and recording and meeting other people that are into this hip hop shit. That's like the hip hop capital. So
Yeah.
we've just been around a lot of different stuff,
That's why I think that's what's kind of molded you into who you are. It's just like you're just around the mecca of
Right.
everything, especially like you said in hip hop for sure.
Right.
It's a
Plus,
melting pot.
I also want to say the martial arts too, early on, in grace of my father, helped me tremendously. Bruce Lee, all races loved Bruce Lee. It wasn't like, there was one thing about him that nobody, liked. Like, he was well respected, and I feel like I kind of want to have that image. Like, I want to be a Bruce Lee in the fact that everybody could appreciate me and with who I am and my story and what I give to the craft. And I think that alone is enough,
Stop snitching. The Bruce Lee inspiration for you, I think, is also something very unique. Martial arts in general. Talk to me about how you bring martial arts and hip hop together. Like, how do you see those disciplines intertwine?
Okay. Let me think about this one. How I want to approach this.
Question. You gotta think
Yeah,
about
let me
for a
think about it.
second.
Let me approach this one. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could go about this one. I mean, martial arts is like a discipline that you learn to, maintain your peace, your balance, self-defense, of course. But I mean, you look at even, Wu-Tang, like RZA. So like, he was the visionary. He brought the kung fu to the hip hop shit. He was one of the, visionaries, one of the first to implement that. And I think things that you could bring together, like Pharrell bringing skate culture to hip hop, or like when you intertwine things, it just makes it more diverse, and the type of fan base you're gonna have is obviously just gonna be more broad. Like, it's gonna be over, more groups of people. So, yeah, I mean,
Can I go as far to say, this may be a deeper question, but using martial arts as a self-defense can also go hand in hand with using hip-hop as a tool of self-defense to bolster your self-confidence, to find what you're good at and excel through that. And
Like-
and it's a verbal versus a physical, but it's all very physically expressive in the same way. I've always kind of thought of that whenever I think
there's
of
so
doing
many
those
ways. Like, I
things.
got, like, that calculation where everything's calculated in the meme. Like,
the meme with the dude
my
with everything
my head
behind
is
him,
like
yeah.
that right now. So with performing, let's start there. Like, martial arts, doing forms or practicing moves. When I'm on stage, I'm naturally gonna look different than most rappers on the stage because of how I move through the arts. Then you could also approach it like, okay, like, switch it up. Like, my voice is a weapon. Hands are a weapon with martial arts. My voice is a weapon through hip hop. So you gotta look at it from different lenses in that way too. But I think as a whole, like, it's just about combining it in a way that can it. What was that?
I don't know what that was.
What was that? But yeah, just combining in a way that's healthy for the two, like not overstepping one or the other, just, letting it flow, swag it out, swag it out.
Can you give us one of your favorite, like, performance stories? One of your favorite shows you've ever done?
Of course, the open up for A Boogie. I mean, that
Oh yeah.
that alone. I want to know. I want to know how he felt on the
I
stage
always
with
forget.
me.
Brandon's so annoying because he's always there. You're like, oh yeah, you remember that thing that happened? Oh yeah, Brandon was there for that.
Hey,
I'm like,
yeah.
fuck, bro.
I'm only where
Dude,
I'm
I was
asked to be,
so
man.
pissed that I didn't
I
get
asked
to
you to go,
He asked
too.
me to go. I was
Yeah, I
working or
asked you to
something.
go.
I was like,
Yeah.
bro, what do you mean you're opening for A Boogie tonight? What do you mean? He's like, dude, just come
Wow.
or don't come. Brandon's going.
Yeah.
I'm there. It was at
It was at Philly, the Trocadero.
Yeah, the
yeah,
truck
I was
there.
like, what?
Man.
Tonight? He was like, yes, we're there.
Yeah.
Dude, I got to I give props to Brandon in general. Bro, some of the most fire pictures and videos you have.
yeah.
Oh,
from
yeah.
That shit, I was like,
Yeah, he out.
my
I'm still
boy,
posting. I'm still
Brandon got
reposting
the
those.
all access pass and said, say less.
Man, I think.
Yeah, give me your perspective on it first. I
Just
love that.
because, I mean, obviously, if you know Rye, you know like that he really lives this like martial arts. Like he really lives by the principles
it's
that
not some
Bruce Lee
bullshit.
was like about when he was alive. You know what I'm saying? And I think. Yeah, I was able to see it firsthand because, you know, Rye, like, before the show, like, people have their rituals. So there's rappers that I know for a fact, like, Talib Kweli needs a whole fruit basket before he performs. Like, I know this for a fact. Don't ask me how. I know this for a fact.
Brandon has all the
Talib
riders.
Kweli, he cannot perform without, like, this fruit tray. Like, that's just, you know, people have the things they need when they're sitting in the green room.
Right.
So Rye is like...
Fruit tray. Okay.
Rye is like zenned out, like especially like right before he's about to perform, like he's zenned out, like it's
Like Bull was like straight up levitating.
Yeah,
legs
he needs
crossed
like
on
he
the floor.
needs.
I was
to get-
Bullseye.
Yeah, he needs to get his mind. Nah, not like that. But it's like yo, like he needs that time to like get his mind right. Like some people can just go out there and perform, but Rye really takes it serious. Like he really like
But also safe to
channels,
say
like,
that's the biggest audience you'd ever.
Yeah,
been in
that's a
front
That
of.
was that was
That's
unbelievable.
packed.
That was
It was-
unbelievable.
it was packed.
I literally walked out there and I said, the first thing I said, I was like, "Y'all are beautiful."
'Cause I think
like
it
I
was-
didn't know what this. It was
Yeah.
crazy because this was. It's not to cut you off. When I, dropped my album and we did the listening party, word
That's
got word
Defined?
word got out. Word got defined.
Oh, Defined.
Yeah,
Okay,
defined the
sorry.
album.
that one.
Yeah, no worries.
That was at like, the record shop.
Yeah, the record shop. Shouts out to everyone that went to that.
That was cool.
That was dope.
But yeah, I mean, just off of that, leading into that performance, it was like I was able to live what I created. And I think as an artist, that's what you want to do essentially. Like you want to be able to perform your music. You want to have merch, for, the aesthetic of what you're putting out and how you want it to be perceived and, the whole thing, the steez. So
Yeah, I remember like freaking it was you, then it was Mir Fontaine, and then it was
Oh, was Mir there too?
Yeah, Mir Fontaine
Damn,
was right
man.
after us. But
That was
like,
a crazy local lineup for that show.
Yeah, it was crazy. But then I just remember like they didn't know who who Rye was, but they all felt to know. Like you can even see
there was some fans there though.
that they knew.
Yeah, there was some fans that knew me. Yeah.
But they're but even the people that didn't know, like they were like locked in. They weren't jumping up and down crazy, but they were like.
Because I'm more a lyrical
Yeah, that's
rapper,
what I'm
like
saying. That's his music.
yeah.
It's not the type that's gonna turn you up. Like A Boogie's just gonna turn you up. Like
Right.
it's not gonna be nothing that's gonna change your life. But with Rye, it's like you can feel him. You
And
know what I'm saying?
let me also say it was for a really good cause. Children's Hospital of Philadelphia sponsored that, and it was for HIV awareness. And there was
Brandon,
Yeah.
I forgot
Brandon's
about
like,
Yeah. there was like stands around the city, set up.
Yes,
People
right.
get educated about it and get a free ticket to go to the show. So it was cool.
That was an epic day, man. That
It was awesome.
I think Khalil was out there swagging
Yup.
with you and everything. That was just
Yup.
cool, man. I think
Isn't
I
it-
was bouncing around all the stage. I was on the stage and I was off the stage.
You know what's so funny about that scenario is that I see that as both of your
Element.
peak element.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I see Brandon as someone who's like on the game floor, but you put him in a bigger situation,
Oh, man.
and he's going to come through bigger,
Oh,
right? Like you
man.
put him on the floor at St. Joe's, that's one thing. You put him on the floor at the NBA Finals, it's gonna
Right.
be another thing.
Can't fold under the pressure in
Can't
that
fold under
moment.
pressure.
Nah.
And I say
Can't-
that
yeah.
the same thing about you, Rye. It's
Yeah.
like that opportunity to say yes and to walk into it and just say I'm ready. Like that's what you
gotta be ready. You always gotta be ready.
For is where someone says that, and you're like, and also kudos to you. It's not like, oh, A Boogie isn't what I like. That doesn't.
I actually grew to like A Boogie after I started diving in his music, and I was like, yo, he's cool. What I mean is,
even in that, it's not the thought process. You're like, hold on.
Yeah, because I'm like
giving me a stage, bro. Like I'm going into somewhere where I've seen artists that I bought a ticket to go to that concert to look at that dude on there. I watched Travis Scott at the Trocadero, bro. Like that's the same stage.
That's fire.
Like for real.
I think that's a dope thing about concerts is like you may go there like when Kanye did his Yeezus tour, like it was that, but Kendrick opened for him. Like dude, Kendrick Lamar.
That was one of the wildest things I've ever seen. It's to like think back on that now. I went to that show in Philly. I was like, Kendrick Lamar's.
Who have you guys seen? Like as far as
I watched the Throne,
bro.
Oh yeah, we went to the Watch the Throne. Jay and Kanye.
It's not even close. That's easily the best concert, most impactful, incredible thing I've ever seen live. There's nothing. I don't care who you've seen. I don't care. I don't care.
I've seen Frank Ocean,
but I don't care.
He was dope.
Frank Ocean is cool, but the level of Jay-Z and Kanye West at that time.
Well, they were on damn cubes. They was on big-ass cubes.
That was the titans of hip-hop. I mean, they're still probably one of the biggest, right? But in that moment it's there's no one. There was no one at that level getting to that point. And being there to see that, I remember leaving, and we were all talking about that, saying, like, even for our age, even for this moment, for it to be cool, we all left that moment saying, like, this is different. Like, you getting to say that you were there will be something forever. To say that. Bro, we were there. We were at the show where he had the breakdown about Amber Rose in Philly.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? He went on for like 15 minutes. He played Love Lockdown and then talked for 15 minutes over the Love Lockdown beat about how sad he was about Amber Rose.
The 808s and Heartbreaks album,
God, it was crazy.
Damn, y'all got that's a moment in history.
Oh, dude, it was the coolest thing I've ever gone and seen live.
Right.
Definitely.
I'm sure that motivated you just as an inspiring artist.
Like that show was lit. Don't get me wrong. What's
your favorite concert you've ever been to?
Yeah, one of the craziest. Don't get me wrong, but I like shows where like I'm like very close to the artist.
Intimate.
Like that was the Wachovia Center, right? Or Wells Fargo?
Yeah, I guess at that point it was the Wachovia Center.
Wachovia,
which is fucked up, bro.
That's crazy. So we were like
another decade.
We were like
reference.
Right. We were in the nosebleeds. So like when I seen Joey perform or Hobson or Dizzy, shout out to Dizzy. I was like more in the mix of were like them on the stage and being interactive. Like it's a more interactive show, I think, when it's a smaller venue like the TLA or the Fillmore, whatever one you go to in Philly.
What do you look for in a performer though? What do you like?
I like the crowd interaction. I like when I feel like that's where I get a lot of my techniques from is when I was 16, 17 going to these shows. Like I saw how they interact with the crowd and it makes it less boring. Like, and that fan.
That is true. It's the worst when artists just go song to song to song to song.
Yeah, go up there Hollywood.
Thing they say in between is like
performance value.
I hope you like this one. You're like, bro, are you serious right now? You got 50,000 people in front of you. You're not going to say anything.
I mean, you got like, for me, like, I mean, I'm sure he's caught wind of it. Like when I rap on stage, I'm looking at people, I'm dapping people up, like I'm showing love, like I'm getting people into it because I realize I'm more lyrical and more about my message than just bouncing around, headlessly. So I feel like I got to do more to get the crowd with me than just having a lit ass song and running out there and just diving in. Like, you feel me? Like I have something to say. So, I don't want to have people like, oh, this motherfucker is the lyrical motherfucker, but you gotta find your techniques with it, yeah.
Which is totally different from who he is as a person. You know what I'm saying? Just in general.
I would say.
I was gonna ask you, bro, like, what's the biggest difference do you see in yourself as an artist and as a person?
That's a good one.
Because you're chill. Like, everything you just described,
he's not like that at all in real life.
As a regular person, is not like that. So, like, what's
not like that?
Like, you're not Explain like the hype, like, energy, like, person. Like you're like the chill.
Put it like
It's
this way.
because it's a
Like this
build
way.
up. Like I literally
think, I think the way that Brandon would like describe me as a person
Okay.
is what you would be like on stage.
Nate would be that on stage.
Okay.
Like,
But me on stage would
I can
be
see
out
that.
of control.
It's because
I would be out of control. Yeah.
Ryan and RJM are essentially, two different
Slim Shady
people.
and Eminem.
I mean, not to that extent. Like RJM is my initials. It's my government.
it's still you.
It's still me, but it's another version of me in a sense of I have built up, trauma from certain situations that I've been through that I express through RJM. But then like Ryan as the person, I'm not going around, acting all hype, oh, you need to know this and that. Like that's for the music. And I think that's the difference. Like the music is more the outlet. Ryan's more chill, and I'm just down to have fun. Like I want to do regular shit still. Like I'm gonna keep growing with the music, but when I have this amount of followers or however people want to look at it, I still want to chill with the homies. I still want to do the regular homie shit, but just got to keep it thorough and genuine to where you started.
That's how I feel. That's what I hear about a lot of
artists.
also
say that keep it thorough is like the
Keep it
most
thorough.
Philly way of
Keep
putting
it thorough.
like I'm just keeping it regular. I feel like people watch this and be like,
100.
keep it thorough.
Keep it
What does
Right,
that mean?
right.
I'm like, I have not heard anyone
real.
say that in so long. I love that.
Yeah.
Damn.
But I mean, I just think that's the story of every artist, right? It's like you have this persona of you as an artist, but when you're just yourself, it's totally different. I've heard that about Cardi B. Like Cardi B is not like, as a regular person, she is not like what she is as like an artist. She's like totally chill.
Plus, you got to look at my journey, right? Like I've done a lot of things that Ryan probably wouldn't do. I mean, in a sensibility of like, I like carrying out concepts. So like behind the blindfold, like it's not always about what you see, it's about what you feel. Like things like that brings me into a different realm of who I am. And it's honestly, I can say that RJM is who I am because it's just a deeper version of me, and it's a more exposed version of me for everybody else to, assess. But I think, yes, there are differences and things that I wouldn't do as Ryan that I would do as RJM for sure.
Yeah. But it's important to keep that too. You don't want everybody knowing exactly who you are all the time.
Right.
That's why I think it's dope when you're an artist. Like you can kind of craft this persona. It's still you, but you can craft this persona, and it can kind of be like your outlier. Like, you know what I'm saying? It can kind of be your defense mechanism. But when you're yourself, that's when you're most vulnerable. Like you don't want people knowing everything about your personal life and things like that. That's why it's cool to see where you're at now, because like, yo, we know like you're a star in the making, but it's also cool to not be a star because you're not so scrutinized, and you've built up your fan base, like fan by fan. Like this man literally goes on Twitter and will respond to every
Oh, dude, I've
person.
said that. I was talking to Ryan about that before. I was like, dude, his
So
attention
authentic.
to his fan base and the detail is just like unparalleled. It's unreal.
Yeah.
This man taught me more about social media than any college class, fucking high school TED talk, whatever. Like, there is a science to that, and you can activate that within yourself, like on a platform, and get it to go. But I was just saying this to him too before we come on here, like, dude, that's a part-time job within itself. Like, you need to allocate 20 hours a week to like push yourself.
I'm exhausted.
And I've
slowed down.
But I was also saying this.
down.
I was saying this to you, but I think this is also true for Brandon. Is that, you know what? Whatever you're gonna put out, you have to know that you need to be marketing yourself without the help of someone else. Like before, and I was saying this, I'd be interested in Brandon's thought on this. Is like before, you'd get a song, it's hot, you get signed. Someone else does your marketing and your labeling, whatever. And back even maybe 7 or 8 years ago, something like that, right? You go to hotnewhiphop.com. You go to DatPiff. You go somewhere every single week to go to a website to find new music. What do you do nowadays? I go to you. I go to Brandon. I go to Ryan. I go to that person. And I think I talked to Brandon about this actually as well. Is he made a shift where, hey, what's the music that I'm going to use? Right? On Instagram, I can put anything that I want.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I can use the hottest songs, the most popular songs. how does that work? And you can see that easily through TikTok, right?
Right.
Like, TikTok has exploded the music industry. Your shit goes hard on TikTok, you could be famous overnight. Millions of people playing that song. Now, you can try to activate that one audience, or you can try to use that music as a catalyst for your own self-interest. And when you're talking about trying to make the best of your music using just you, if I want to find Ryan's music, you go to at RJM Official.
Yeah.
Like, you don't go somewhere else.
Right.
And how much pressure is on that as well, where like, if someone comes and looks at Brandon's stuff, it's like, sure, the video could be cool, but I think that Brandon would also agree. The music is probably 50% of it.
Yeah.
You got to know that you're
music,
laying something very trendy, very hot over what you want people to look at. And that doesn't diminish the value of your work, but people got to see it, bro.
Yeah.
Is that unfair?
It's like a cat and mouse game, right?
Right.
It's like you have to. For me, I like all the music that I'll put under my videos. Like I'll put like I just had a Playboy Cardi song in my joint.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think my last video had Uzi, but my favorite rapper ever is Jay-Z. So it's just like,
you don't say.
Yeah. But it's like I just like a lot of different music. So for me, it's easy because I'll just put out whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like the business side of it is like you do have to cater to an audience. Even in your situation, right? It's like, we know that like you're at your core, you're boom bap, you're underground. I need the lyrics, but I can even hear it in your music. Obviously in Define, like that was like the biggest shift we noticed, like in terms of like the
full quality
songs. Like
compact.
It wasn't all just like I'm just at you with these bars.
I'm trying to pull it up.
Yeah,
that was like the game changer for me to find. It was like I finally came to that point where this is who I am. People are either gonna like it or not, and it's quality. So
but it's still, you still stay within yourself. Like you had the bangers on there, but it was still like your type of bangers.
Yeah.
And then even with the music that like you've blessed us to be able to hear, it's like now it's like.
Oh, now it's getting
level. Like it's like now you're starting to really get it.
Now
like,
I'm giving a lot of my story, which is a whole other conversation.
But it's like the sounds are different. They're like more like just not. I want to say bangers. They're like there's something that you could bop to, but also feel.
Right.
A lot of times when we listen to hit records, like it's just like a good beat and a good hook. But with Rye, it's like. Not a good beat and the lyrics are crazy and then the hook is crazy. Like you kind of have the whole package.
What are y'all favorite tracks? Like what one that you was sitting there? What are y'all favorites? Because I got a lot that go away.
Let me go like this. I feel like I'm Bruce Lee.
I feel like I'm Bruce
Lee. My life is a movie. Focus on balance.
You cannot move.
Bruce Lee is on Undefined. I love that song. We were talking about this before. Live It Up with Khalil is a great song.
Yeah, Live It Up.
I'm going to save No Regrets for a whole just piece of the conversation.
A lot of people like
totally
that.
Different. No Regrets, 100%.
I like
Dope.
90s Baby.
I knew he was going to say that.
90s Baby.
He loves 90s Baby.
Space. Remember we listened to Space in the
Oh,
car?
You know what's
is
funny about
definitely a
Space is
BCTV
like
track.
when I was making, I was like, I know these MFs are gonna like this one because it's like it's a more of a mainstream type of feel, but I was still talking about something that was deep, which was cool.
Gotta get it off.
And I will say, if you want to listen to any of this, RJM.
Yeah.
I'm a Spotify shorty. I know Brandon's an Apple Music shorty. I think it's a consistent between both. You can find it on either one.
Oh yeah,
We're talking
RJM.
about Define is the 2018 album. Like you said, at the end we'll get into whatever you're bringing out in the future. But that was definitely one of the most like impactful, full scope album release party, the full nine.
Right, and it's been 3 years, and I would think with everything that I've gone through since then, the second album's gonna be more experimental, like Kendrick with Good Kid, Mad City to Pimp a Butterfly. Like Pimp a Butterfly, like you could tell he just said F it, like I'm doing it whatever I want. Whatever I want. I don't care, I don't care if it's not a hit, I'm just doing it. And the next my next album, I feel like it's gonna be that for me. It's gonna be
Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. It's gonna be something that, I didn't hold back on. I mean, there's a lot I could talk about as far as, you know, some of the things I've said in Mentality, if you really listen in, you know, 2019 was a hard year for me, you know, and going into 2020 with, you know, COVID and the election and all the craziness everybody has a perspective on, like, I've just been sitting back and just making music and trying to use that as the remedy to stay positive, because a lot of people, you know, get wrapped up in the negative and don't have an outlet. But I think that's what's important about it, just finding that outlet. Like you with the filming, you with the podcast, like
we all need that. It's all about peace of mind. It's like what can you do?
This is Brandon's 2021 now.
What can you do to where you can go to sleep at night and be good, but also be excited to do the same exact thing? That's peace of mind to me. It's like, for me, for you, it's making music. For me, it's making content. For Nate, it's these podcasts every weekend. Like, you look forward to these things, you know? So we're all blessed to be able to do things that we love to do. Even Nate, in the corporate environment, like, you still love your job. Like, you still love the people you're around. Yeah. Like, I go to freaking an Enterprise every week, and it's like, yo, Nate, man, that's my God. Like, it's crazy, like, just how you can make an impact when you do, like, what you love to do. Because, like, you're a people person, so it's like, yeah, you may not want to be at Enterprise your whole life, but it still allows you to, like, access the skill set that you naturally have in terms of, like, being around people and, you know, making people feel good about their decisions and talking and customer service and stuff like that.
But I also think that, like, people think that, like, working a job means you, like, sold out. Nah. That you don't do. It's like, you've got this fucked up, bro. Anybody that you see right now who has any sort of following was doing something to help support them,
or still doing it,
to get to that level. And it's unfair to think that most people are in a situation where they can just rely on their natural circumstances to support them and give them everything they need. Like, no, put it this way. If you really want it and you really are going to grind for it, you are going to do the Gary V bleed through your eyes, not sleep, wake up, think about this thing that you want to try to do and go for it. Like, us three are all very busy people, but we all want to be here. But it doesn't mean that I have to work on working out my shit for timing, to work with Brandon's shit about timing, to work with your shit about timing. Like, all of those things still have to happen, because honestly, until one of those bags goes crazy, none of those are going to support any of us individually. So
gotta pay the bills.
All of those things matter. You got to pay the bills. And I think this is important for people to know, especially as a younger person. You're not selling out by having a job. Having a job is there to help you. And however long you want to use that job is completely dependent on how much you've set yourself up for success. And how much risk do you want to take, and how much do you believe in yourself. And all of those things are not mutually exclusive or inclusive. They're all different. And you have to evaluate your life and take that in stride and know that, hey, whatever you want to do, man, is okay. But if you're willing to take the big risk, you got to be willing to take the big fail. And if you want to be more conservative, like, I think out of all three of us, I'm the most conservative in the way that I would consider how I've set my life up. You got to know that, hey, make the jump when you want to make the jump, but also it's different. Like, all three of us are lucky. I know for me, God willing, to not have kids. But as soon as you have something like that, I'm in a loving relationship, you want to take that to the next level. You can't, it's a very movie style, fake fictional thought process to say, fuck it, I'm going to go be a rapper now. And it doesn't matter, and nothing matters, and I'm gonna go do whatever I want and fuck everyone else.
That's what they're trying to.
That's not real. You love people in your life. You have things that you want to support. That's not real life, bro. Any 16-year-old out there is like, I'm just gonna make logos and be a rap. No,
the narrative of that.
Don't
is terrible.
Do that, man. Don't do that. Right. Set yourself up for success. Make money to support your habit, and take off from there. But do not set yourself back by giving yourself nothing. You have no money, you have no resources, you have no time. None of those things are going to make your life get better.
Right. I feel that.
Sounds like real talk to me.
That's real. It's real. Yeah.
Nah, that's dope.
That's real.
Stop snitching.
All right, we back. Again, we're here with our brother Ryan. To most of you guys, he's RJM, and it's been a great conversation to start, man. Been over an hour, and we touched on a lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? A lot of different things, and we know you're a private person, so we just appreciate you for even chopping it up with us, man.
Thank you.
Getting into some of the topics that you've gotten into. But I want to bring it all the way back, bro, because like you said, you're our brother for real. We've been at this for a long time. I don't know when exactly we did this. I want to say it was like
2015.
2015, bro. So, you know, as people know, you know, you've been doing this music thing for a while. I've been fiddling around with content for a while. Nate was doing it as well too. Nate's been
The funniest thing about this is Brandon's in front of the camera. I'm behind it.
Yeah,
like
it was
you're
like
talking
totally
about. I'm not.
reversed.
I don't interview at all.
It was totally reversed.
Just amazing.
And, you know, for people that don't know, we did a video entitled "RJM Legend in the Making," right?
Yeah.
Where, you know, we basically did just like pretty much like a profile piece on where you were at that time. You know what I'm saying? And looking back on it, it was crazy because we totally finessed the whole thing. Like, we knew what we wanted to try to do.
But bro, if you look at it, this is a polished, you got some money version to make this. Like, bro, it was still multiple camera setups.
Yeah, it was
natural lighting, multiple locations. We had that fire ass intro.
Yeah,
humble beginnings.
Yeah.
Humble beginnings,
dude. It was amazing looking back because like.
But it's called RJM, Legend in the Making. You can search that on YouTube and it should come up.
It's still
There's a lot of content on there too that's no longer up because I repolish, you know, my catalog, and you know I've gotten better, of course, over time. So you know I always want, you know, my fresh stuff on the front line. But it was.
And I'll throw that in there at the end. There's like unreleased music now from Ryan.
Oh, right.
Like video of him rapping and doing stuff from a younger age.
There's a lot of unreleased cuts on there.
It's out there, but to see him do it on video, though, I think that's the only video that's out there, right? With that.
Yeah. I just remember, like, just the process. I think we did it in, like, a day, maybe 2 days or whatever.
I think it was a 2-day shoot.
It was, like, a 2-day shoot, and it was off the cuff. But it was just, like, the importance of it was, like, we've been supporting each other for a minute, like all of us, right? Because like you had the YouTube channel, I was doing the videos. Like I said at the time, like I was more in front of the camera doing the interviews. You were behind it, and you were just starting your music career.
Stop snitching.
You know, I definitely appreciated that about you guys because you always were there for me. You always gave me the platform to be myself, and you know, we're just genuinely interested in it. And I think that alone helps someone. Like, if you're doing something and everybody's always telling you no, that could get to you. And honestly, when I first started, that's how it was. You two were the selected few that really took the time with me. And, you know, shout out to also Kurt, shout out to also Kyle from my first job, my best friend Tom. You know, a lot of names that, you know, I might not even talk to now, but at least like in those given times, it was appreciated and, you know, reciprocal. Like we look at now and Brandon's doing his thing. Like he can't be stopped, you know, and it's crazy. And then same with you, you know, allowing us this platform to be able to express ourselves and show other people that you don't have to be afraid to express yourself. You could do what you want in life, and there is a way out, you know. And I know, you know, saying that, you know, you could think a lot of different things and ways about it, but it's just to inspire, and it's just to, you know, let people know that, you know, no matter what people say, it's one of them things, you could still do it.
That's why I brought it up, because it's like such a full circle moment, right? It's like at that time we were all just starting out and what we knew we wanted to do. We didn't know how it would happen, but we knew just at that time
I know Brandon would look at that now and be like,
yeah, I'll be like, oh, but I mean,
I look at it now. I'm like, damn, the swag was like, it was like 65%.
But I think
like,
the importance of it was like, at the heart of it, it was really great. Like just the story.
And I think like what Ryan's saying is also like at that point, man, the same reason I talked to Brandon, I'm like, yo, I need you to be on this with me. And it's not every time, but when when I need you, buddy, like you gotta have someone there who's going to push it just a little bit. He's gonna bring it a little bit, and I know I gotta bring it a little bit.
Yeah.
And just go from there. And this is probably the most loosest non-traditional type of format that we've done.
Yeah.
But even to that extent, back then it's like I think Brandon and I prepped that for a couple days.
Yeah, we definitely story
trying to get it going. And I think the full circle point of this for me is that growing up, you think more friends the better. I need more support. I need a lot of people in my life to get this going. And then incrementally, year by year by year, you realize you probably need enough friends that you can count on one hand.
Right.
And if those friends on one hand can bring something to your life, push you, or remind you of who you're supposed to be, that's enough.
Right.
And you can go from there. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if you have that spark in you the same way that, dude, I mean, Brandon's my oldest friend next to Shane in the entire world that I've grown up with my whole life. How many things have I picked up and dropped, picked up and dropped, picked up and dropped? But over the course of time, you watch that little graph go like this, and it's moving in the right positive direction. It doesn't matter whether it's up or down, up or down, up or down. But in that little up and down, up and down, up and down, there's only the same people that are influencing me the same time. So I got to give it to that circle to keep it going in the right direction.
Sure.
I think that's why it's important to highlight. It was important to highlight that because it shows like just what it means to have a tight circle of people. Because you remember in high school, it was all about like trying to be the most popular, how many friends did you have, who voted for you, or whatever.
And social media ruins that even worse now for kids younger. And I don't mean to digress into something crazy like that, but I do think that it's important for kids nowadays, or anybody older who's listening to this obviously already knows, but I remember my dad telling me that. He's like, man, I've got like 4 friends. And he's like, 55, 56. He's like, and that's more than enough to manage like through your whole life.
Some people don't have genuine friends, bro. They don't have people that they can genuinely call at any time.
But they don't know the difference between a friend and an acquaintance, a friend or a fan. Yeah. And you're like, there's no like the friends in my life who come in here are the ones who I'm not preparing for. Like I'm not worried about this. You know who I am. I'm doing this for me and going, on from that. And I think that this platform, this podcast, obviously we tailor it to Ryan because we want to always prop up anybody in my life who's doing anything, who's been with me for the longest time. I think that's always the most important. But Ryan would do that for me. Yeah. That's why Ryan would do it on my platform. Right. I asked Ryan, I'm like, do you want to do it at your studio? You want to do it at your house? No, bro, I want to do it at your place.
Rep the
in
logo.
Front of your sign. Yeah, right. Yeah. Rep what you do. Because that's what's most important. And then the same thing that I know Brandon and I agree on now is the reason we're making this is so that 5, 10, 15, whatever it is from now, we want you to point back to this and say, what's the most you've ever heard Ryan speak on camera ever?
Right.
It'll probably...
He was definitely transparent.
Even 5 years from now, it'll probably be this. Yeah. Because you have that connection with someone, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And you go from there.
It just shows the growth in us all. It's like we stay consistent in what we wanted to do.
Right.
No matter... Like, our lives are all different, but they're the same.
Put it this way, take a break.
Yeah.
I'm the only one here who's probably taking a break to figure out what I want to do. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. I'm still going for it,
Everybody's process is different. And it's just, like, crazy to see, like... It would be crazy to, like, actually look back at that video just from all these different standpoints. Like, remember, you had the YouTube page popping. Like, you would do the challenges.
I had no gas at that point. I was the most popping.
Yeah.
Bro, I was getting recognized at Starbucks. I'm 16 years old in the Ville. Like,
I was
it's
just
the next level.
trying to figure. I just knew that I liked certain ways videos looked, and I wanted to try to replicate it. And you were just trying to get your music out, and to like now, fast forward to now, it's like we've all found our lanes. Still in that thing, but we found it and we're like comfortable in it.
It's second nature.
You know what I'm saying? Now it's second nature. And, you know, as we wrap up, like, you know, just to see your growth personally, right? Just in music, like, because there was a time where it was just like all boom bap, right? Like we knew you were trying to be that and
old
everything.
school hip hop,
yeah,
bars,
old school hip hop.
Yep, you got
but
that.
Then like as time goes, it's like, all right, like it's still about that at its core, like I said before, but now it's like the musicality is getting crazy.
Right.
Like,
more melody.
More sound, more melodies, experimenting with different things. And now you're at a point where you just...
Where you get to work with your idols.
Yeah, with your idols.
With people that you really wanted to always work with.
Yeah.
Stop snitching. And I want everyone to know we're prefacing this off of No Regrets is the single that Ryan just dropped. Yep. It's RJM featuring Dizzy Wright. You can find that streaming
featuring
everywhere.
Dizzy Wright, bro. That's crazy.
Give us through that, bro.
Nah, I'm just messing with you. It's just, since you said that, I'm going to go even deeper. So,
okay.
I dropped my album. You know, people that never supported me. People that, you know, used to hate in high school, showed love. And I still appreciate it because it's just like, I worked hard, you know, like when everybody, again, told me no, I said yes, and I kept going. So let's fast forward. I dropped Defined. I dropped 5 singles after Defined. I dropped Behind the Blindfold 2, Forgetful, Go Away, Self-Love, and Mentality. If you go back and listen to those singles, you're going to get a lot from my life, whether people, you know, really tuned in to certain bars, but it's like this was all cultivated to No Regrets. Like, it was talking about my heartbreak. It was talking about, you know, I was in a bad car accident that took me out the game for a few months. And, you know, cats, you know, Nate, Brandon were there. And I was down and out. And, you know, I think as an artist, you excel the most in those times because it tests your ability to express yourself more and get through those hardships. And again, like, you know, not being afraid of how you feel in that moment is a big one for me. And shit, you know, I'm still learning new ways to express myself, to be more transparent with my fans. But like, as you guys say, like, I am very private. Like, this is new to me to do this. But again, like, this is what they need. This is what they're going to listen to and absorb and see, like, hey, like, he's not afraid to say this or that. Maybe I could express myself with painting or, you know, other things that are creative and get, you know, people's, you know, input and feedback. So No Regrets, Dizzy Wright.
Crazy.
Dizzy Wright, man.
Let's go.
I sent them the track, the email back. They emailed me 5 minutes back.
I was going to say, can we talk about that? You
that's
DM
crazy.
the artist that you want to work with, and then 5 minutes later, management emails you back like, yeah, let's
Shout
go.
out Dizzy Wright.
Yeah,
Like, that's got to be a moment, right?
Of course, I was professional with the pitch, but 5 minutes later...
But there's no hesitation.
No hesitation. Like
bet.
They were there. I sent it on like a Monday morning. Like, I'm thinking like, okay, like...
Start of the work week.
Start of the work week. Like, let's do it. Let's go for it. And, 5 minutes later, they got back to me and they were like, yo, Dizzy's going crazy right now to it. There's a couple things that's making him go insane because in the chorus that's, you know, kind of correlating to that. But it was sick. And, you know, this is someone that I was a fan of the venue. You feel me? Like, I'm not ashamed of it. Like, I was, you know, the kid with the phone out. Oh, shit. Like, he's fucking spitting some crazy shit. Like, I was, you know, front row absorbing how he, you know, approached his craft and was able to, you know, look at it and absorb it to help better what I was trying to do. And I'm very appreciative of that one. I mean, people that, you know, I rocked with, you know, that maybe I no longer rock with, or, you know, it doesn't matter about that, but it's just the fact, like, people doubt you so much, and it's like you're just waiting for that one thing. It's like, damn, like, I've been working so hard and there's nothing to come from it. And then finally that one thing comes, and that's what it was for me. It was like, damn, this happened. I'm cool. It gives me more motivation for the next project. And I'm very blessed. I'm very appreciative. And, you know, without the support, wouldn't have happened. Without, you know, still pushing myself to progress as an engine. Like, I engineered his vocals. I put the whole thing together. Like, it's real. So,
well, I mean, it's safe to say we're all proud of you, bro.
Damn.
That was a crazy, crazy moment.
Yeah, bro.
Still not over that one.
Super
but,
nuts. Like,
yeah.
that's definitely one of the coolest things to see. Be like, damn, all right. It's one thing to see your friend, like, talk their shit, and you're like, yes, I believe in you. Of course, you can do that.
Like
and then there is that moment where you're like, oh, fuck. Like,
right.
It's real.
oh, he really,
real,
like,
man.
it does not matter what the level is, right? Like, it can be like Brandon doing Jay-Z's documentary at the end of his life.
Right.
That'd be
Or
crazy.
you with Dizzy Wright. It's whatever is most impactful to you. It's hitting that moment where you're like, hey, this is someone that I have looked up to,
Right.
and I
Yeah.
reached out to them, and they said, okay.
And
And
can
you're
I
like,
also
oh,
say,
wait, okay. All right.
Can I also say, like, Dizzy, you know, of course, I'm not expecting everybody to know everything I say here, but, like, Dizzy was on an independent label called Funk Volume, ran by Hobson, and, you know, a few other people as well. But they built a brand off doing it themselves and staying independent and not signing to a record label. So if this man collabed with me, he didn't have to do it. Like, he really didn't. Like, he's not in it for the money. He's already shown that. And that's just even more respect to him, because you could tell he really loves hip-hop and, you know, what the craft gives to him. So,
Yeah.
you know, I would hope that in the future I could work with him again.
No, for sure. I think it's just safe to say that you've been the model of consistency and just sticking with it no matter what, through the ups and downs, through everything that you've had to go through. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've just stuck with it and you haven't given up. You know, and in saying that, I know you're working on some new music right now. So without giving too much away, like, what can the people expect from the second RJM album?
Bars.
Well, yeah.
A lot, like, defined. Again, it was packaged well, quality-wise, but I still didn't give everything. And I did that on purpose because I wanted people to start learning more about me, but not, like, you know, pull the whole, I'm going to tell you everything, but still make good music. The next one, I'm telling everything. I'm, you know, everything we were transparent about in this, you know, you could hope to listen to that, you know, come the summer. And, you know, hopefully this summer, I'm going to work hard to make sure everything's in line for that. This would be 3 years after Defined. I'm cool with that. You know, it took me a long time to really absorb a lot of the things that I dealt with through, you know, gaining more success, gaining more notoriety, being in the Philly scene, you know, labels approaching me. And again, like, I still stay true to myself. I never signed. I don't plan signing. You know, I'm happy where I'm at, and I just need y'all to support me. You know, like, this is something that I do all myself. So if people can't respect that, then what can they respect?
I mean,
Talk about it.
Talk about it, bro. I mean, I think that's a perfect way to wrap it all up, man. We're just proud of you, bro.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Just that, and then even you just being on here and just being so open. I know it's different for you. But like we said, it's just really a conversation, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just a good vibe.
Proud of y'all too.
Yeah,
Y'all are
bro.
amazing.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
thanks, man. I appreciate that, bro.
Nah, but I mean, obviously, everybody that's listening, you know, RJM on all digital streaming platforms.
Yes. Sorry, that's why I wanted to pull this up. So
Yeah.
it's at RJM Official on Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah.
You were saying at RJM Poet
On Twitter.
on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then we really want to push the Poetic Drive. It's at
Poetic Drive.
God, big things
You
coming.
see the shirt. He's got
Yeah.
it on the side of his hat.
Sirski.
I would just kind of say it's safe to say that is the next step in the branding, as I
Yeah.
think Ryan would say, the engine in the RJM body that's going to be
Right.
pushing out more merchandise, content. So yes, overall, follow at Poetic Drive, at RJM Official, at RJM Poet on Twitter. Outside of that, bro, thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything else you want to plug or say on here?
RJM Official, again, on Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube, RJM Poet on Twitter. And, just be on the lookout for transparency in my music, more about my story. And, again, shout out to y'all, because without y'all, shit, cats would have been struggling.
Hey, man.
Yes,
all
sir.
here for each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So hopefully that can inspire everybody listening to just hone in on your circle of friends and just support. Go after your dream and do it in your way. There's no right or wrong way to go after your dream as long as you stay consistent and do it. So
Love it.
that's really it, man. Dang, I'm
You
giving
write
y'all
that
bars.
beforehand? God
I'm
damn
giving
it.
y'all bars.
Look, put that on the
day.
beginning of my album. All right, guys. Yes, obviously, like, subscribe, comment. It'll be on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere like that. Ryan, thank you so much for coming,
Thank you.
buddy. Appreciate you, buddy.
All right,
Thank
y'all.
you.
We out of here.
Peace. Stop snitching.